Hello bakers, welcome back to the Cakers channel. It has been a while, but guess what? I am back and I'm here to stay. Today we're going to be decorating an amazing birthday cake. The theme is gold and white. So I started off with my cake already filled and crumb coated. If you're having issues with this stage of the cake decorating, I have a very detailed video tutorial here on this YouTube channel titled Back to the Basics. Go check that out and it will cover everything about filling your cake and crumb coating it. This is me applying a final layer of buttercream to this cake. So this is my lovely mock Swiss buttercream. Very creamy, soft, and absolutely delicious. I'm going around the cake a few times with my cake smoother, and as you can see here, I'm switching a lot between smoothers because I want to get it right. It has to be perfect. I'm going around. This little white one here is my favorite one. I use it for all of my cakes. As you can see, I'm taking the buttercream a little bit above the height of the cake, and the reason for that is that I'll cut it away later to reveal some lovely sharp edges. The cake was in the freezer for about 15 minutes, setting up a bit before I moved on to the next stage. So I'm going to go around the cake with my buttercream at a softer consistency than the one that I used to apply the final coat. So to get your buttercream a little bit softer, I just pop it in the microwave for like 5 seconds just to add some heat to it and soften it. I'm using my offset spatula just to fill in those tiny gaps. They're so minimal, you're hardly seeing them, but I'm seeing them and I want this cake to be absolutely perfect. Once I'm happy with the sides of the cake, I'll get a very sharp knife just to cut away the excess buttercream from the top edge of the cake, and this will reveal some lovely sharp edges. Believe me, when you're working on your cakes, achieving sharp edges can seem a bit intimidating sometimes, but with these crisp sharp edges, you'll get this nice professional touch on your cake, and it will just let your cake design stand out a whole lot more. Even worse, when you're having a minimalistic design, there's no room for error and there is nothing much to hide the flaws of the cake. So you have to get everything perfect. I went ahead and I applied a first layer of stencil pattern to the cake. I let the cake sit in the fridge for a few minutes just for that layer of stencil to firm up so that when I'm applying the next stencil pattern, it will not mess the cake up. So to apply the stencil, I put the pattern on, I get some soft consistency buttercream and spread it all over the stencil pattern. Now I'm using my buttercream smoother just to scrape off the excess buttercream from the outside of the stencil, and then I'll peel it away to reveal that beautiful pattern. This is like one of my most used stencil and it just gives a beautiful final touch to your cake. Stenciling can elevate your cakes and take them to a whole new level. If you've never tried stenciling before, this is your sign to give it a try. When I was asked to make this lovely cake, the only direction I got was white and gold. I saw this lovely trend on the internet and I decided to give it a try. So I'm here applying some vegetable oil to some wafer paper. Then I'm applying some edible gold luster dust. I'm using a brush here to spread the luster dust. This brush, I only use it for cake decorating. Once I've applied the dust and I have a very good coverage, I let the paper sit for a little while so that the dust gets dry on the paper. Now that it is dry, I'm using a scissors just to cut different shapes and patterns from this paper. Once I'm done cutting and get all the sizes that I want it to be, I'll get my steamer. Yes, this is my PME food steamer. Just use it for my cakes, and it works with getting cornstarch out of your fondant work, and you can also use it to curl your wafer paper. So that's what I'm doing right here, adding some curling effect and some flexibility to these wafer papers to add more definition to my cake. This is a floral themed cake, so I'm also adding some artificial roses and some little artificial filler flowers to this cake to make it really nice. Before I start adding the flowers to the cake, of course, I had to wash them. I washed them really well and give them a little dry. They're sitting down now while I'm working on some fondant to cover my cake board. If I'm not using a white cake board, I'll just roll out some fondant of either a color that complements the cake, or I'll just go with plain white to cover my cake board and have it neatly decorated. I always send my cakes out on a decorated cake board. If you know me, you know. I'm using my same brush with some water just to dampen the edge of the board a bit so that the fondant sticks really well. And I'm going around the cake board with the fondant just to give it a nice finished look. Once I'm done covering the board, I'm using the excess fondant just to roll them in different size balls from small, medium, large. And I have a little sprinkle container that I added some of that gold luster dust to. And I'm just dropping the balls inside the container. Give it a little shake and it will completely coat these white balls in a beautiful golden color that I'll use to add some more textures and decorative design to my cake. Before you put any flour into a cake, may it be artificial flour or real flour that is safe for cake decoration purposes and that's non-toxic, you can use a florist tape just to wrap all the stems, or if you don't have florist tape, some foil paper will do, but just be careful and inform your clients whatever you're putting in the cake and what needs to be removed before they actually consume these cakes. Once I'm done wrapping the flowers, I realized that those little ones were more yellow than golden, and I really wanted them to have this nice gold color. I went ahead and I got my airbrush, my lovely airbrush kit, and I used the gold color just to spray the yellow flowers, and as you can see, it's looking a lot better. That's the color I want it to be, so I'm gonna go ahead and spray all of them a nice golden color. Time to add the icing to the cake. So funny. Anyways, this is me placing the lovely roses and flowers to the cake. Believe me guys, at this stage, all you need to do is to let your creative juices flow. Put things here, put things there. If you're not liking it, move it around until you're completely happy with the design that you come up with. It's very hard to get things wrong here. And to the side of the cake there, where the stencil did not completely meet each other, I'm just adding some more decorations there just to cover that spot. So once you're decorating your cake, you will know where have something that needs hidden, and you'll just put things where they're supposed to be to have a very finished look once you're done with your cake. I added the celebrant's initial to the front of the cake using a little gold acrylic letter, and I went ahead and applied some edible gold leaves using a nice thin flat brush. To finish my cake off, I applied a golden matching ribbon, and just look at that beautiful cake. Putting some sprinkles here and there, and that is it. And yeah, don't forget those lovely macaron cookies on the top of the cake. I made those and they're absolutely delicious. Putting on some final touches by painting the edges of the flowers gold and just bringing the whole design together. This is me boxing this beauty up so that my clients can come and collect their cake. They had an amazing celebration and I got the most amazing review. Remember, if you want to learn cake baking and cake decorating and get amazing tips and tricks to start or improve on your cake baking and decorating journey, this is the YouTube channel for you. Make sure to like, share, and hit the subscribe button so that you can be notified whenever I drop a new video. Until next time, keep on baking.